This is the video for the sermon-based Bible study from Colossians chapter 1, verses 18 to 20. Jesus Christ is the undisputed leader and champion of the world. Getting started, we have a bunch of different questions that all have to do with leadership and rule. And the big question is, what makes a good leader or a good ruler? And the certain things that we want to focus on is a good ruler has three different categories that they will fit, that we'll look as we go deeper into the study. Number one, when we look at the given passage, the ruler has to be fit to be a ruler. We see the difference, we'll see this difference here when it comes to Jesus Christ and Adam, how Adam was an unfit ruler, therefore God sent Jesus Christ to be a fit ruler. Secondly, a good leader, or someone who is fit to be a leader, is someone who has defeated his enemies. We know that Jesus has defeated sin, temptation, lies, and even death. He's defeated all the enemies that have come across his way. He's defeated all the arguments that come against him as well. If we try to follow a leader who was constantly defeated by his enemies, he would not be a good leader at all. We wouldn't want to follow him. Lastly, what makes a good leader is he is appointed to be a ruler. God originally appointed Adam, but since Adam failed, God now appointed Jesus Christ to be that ruler. And so it's important for us in these three categories. We'll see these three categories come out as we go further in the study. What we want to do in the getting started section is have kids think about, man, what makes a good ruler? And hopefully we can guide them to these answers that we see in the scriptures. The next section is going deeper and finding Jesus. We're going to find Jesus in the Old Testament and the New Testament. Here in Genesis chapter 1, verse 28, God tells Adam that he's supposed to subdue, have domain over all of the earth. God appoints Adam to do this very thing. Adam, in the beginning, as he walked in obedience, he is also fit to be that leader. That's why God appointed him. However, Adam in his sin and falling into the temptations and listening to the serpent, he was defeated by his enemy, Satan, and he was no longer fit to have dominion over all of the earth. And so he, in essence, does not fit to be a ruler. Therefore, God sent Jesus Christ, and this is where we see the matching between God's original image that fell short and the perfect image in Jesus Christ. Now, Jesus Christ, he is the head, or he's the ruler of the body of the church, and he is the beginning, the firstborn from the dead. These two themes, or this theme of having rule is found both in Genesis 1:28 and Colossians 1:18. Now, what Adam was, he was unfit to be a ruler. He was defeated by his enemy, Satan, although he was appointed. But now Jesus Christ, being the newly appointed image bearer and ruler of all the earth, he is someone who is fit because he did not get defeated by Satan. He didn't lose to Satan and his tactics. And he is also proven to himself to be a fit leader to rule over us. So we'll see the connection. See here that Jesus being the head of the body, the church, and the firstborn. And later on, we'll see over the whole earth that him being head shows that he is appointed by God, that he is a fit ruler because he was not defeated by his enemies. Jesus may have been tempted, but he was never overcome or ruled over by these temptations. When it comes to impurity, sexual immorality, Jesus never had fallen into any kind of temptation there. He did not fall into idolatry or witchcraft. He didn't have fits of rage. Not even when he was going on the cross. He was never selfish. And he had no faction, and he didn't have any desire to divide or to be jealous whatsoever. He lived a perfect life, and he overcome everything. When we look at Jesus' track record, we see that he truly did not fall into temptation, was tempted tremendously by Satan, but he never fell. And the fact that he overcame those makes him fit to be a righteous ruler over the Christians and over our life. The fact that Christians fall into their temptations often, sometimes even every day, we know that someone who does not fall into temptation is Jesus Christ. He's overcome all those. Therefore, when we look to him, we can overcome those things as well. He's fit to be a ruler because he's not overcome, although we are overcome. In terms of the going out, it's very, very important to communicate to our students that Jesus is asking for an undivided allegiance to Jesus Christ. God is telling us that Jesus is the main leader. And the way that we worship and we give and we accept God's ways, we need to do it undivided, without question, with a joyful heart. He is the ruler and he rules over us. Therefore, we have to follow in all of his directions. The going out section shows that Jesus is the champion and the leader of our church. We are obligated to confront in love the people and the sins that are actively against them. What this means is if Christ is the ruler and what he said lays down the rule, we need to confront ourselves with that rule and confront those whom we love with that rule. And so the first application is to encourage them to lovingly be confrontational with the sin in their life, the temptations in their life, and those in the lives of their friends. A lot of times when there is a confrontation or sin, we choose to hide it under the rug or we choose to flee. But if we're going to be good and faithful servants of our ruler, Jesus Christ, we want to have a healthy way of confronting them. If anyone is struggling with their sin, we don't just confront them to say, hey, don't do this or don't do that, but we offer a helping hand. We lend them our hand so that we can help them get out of a temptation or a sin that they're currently in. This way, God would be pleased as we are following his rule.